Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Things are getting real expensive real fast, aren't they? And it's only going to get worse. Let's look at fuel and oil and all that sort of things. Russia's a major exporter, major. And if they cut off supply to Europe, yeah, their income's going to go down, but it's going to really suck to be a European because the Arabian nations, Iran, Iraq, the whole petroleum place like that, hey, didn't want to rhyme, but it happened. That's going to go to hell in a damn fury. So what can we do in the face of everlasting sanctions? And I'm going to tell you, be as self-sufficient as you can. I've got my 3D printer here working away. You know what? It's doing nothing spectacular. It's printing hex bases. Use those to play some games. But this thing pays for itself. Not painted yet, but I present you the Minecrafter zombie thing. Whoa, scary. Anyway, I can print toys like that for my little one. She's thrilled to have them. Makes pretty cheap Christmas gifts, don't you think? All because I'm relatively self-sufficient. I got the filament, I got the plans, I can do anything I want. The same is true for food. It doesn't even take a lot. You take a tomato, a good tomato, you slice it up, put that tomato into I probably should have done this in my downstairs office, but I'm not going down there at the present time. But you put that into just a pot holder, one of those seedling pot holders. Put the tomato, put a little bit of dirt above it, well, a little bit of dirt below it, a little bit of dirt above it, the slice of tomato, then you water it and you have a tomato plant. Now, whoever you are, wherever you are, you have somewhere to put this. Because at some point in your existence, sunlight comes across your place of residence, be it a house, be it a townhome, be it an apartment. I once saw this really lovely solarium. And most people convert a solarium into a place where you can sit and chairs and stuff like that. But this person had converted it to almost a Garden of Eden. It was incredible to look at it. You basically walked into it, you were walking into the jungle, and there were exotic plants, etc. I see no reason why you can't do that with plants. Plants are pretty easy to grow. Yes, it's true. We can't have a banana, because a banana involves a plant, a tree, something that grows very high. A pineapple bush, notice I said bush, doesn't grow very high. But the same token, it's very bulky to have in an apartment. But you can still have tomatoes, fresh tomatoes year round. It only requires that one starter crop. Once you get the first one planted in the ground, you got tomatoes for the rest of your life because you can always spare a tomato to start the cycle again. There's so many things you can do on your own. Beer, not my usual bottle. I used some plastic ones this time, and you know what? It brewed up pretty good. Beer is water, malt, and hops for a little bit of flavor, a little bit of sugar to encourage the secondary carbonation, but those are all learned skills. For that, we have the internet. Anything we could want is on there. Yes, I'm watching Doctor Who. But so many people are not willing to go through the effort. The funny part is, it's bloody easy. It's really easy to go through the effort. Yes, I appreciate the mess of the books I have behind here. I still read 2022, and I'm still going to read. I'm going to read for the rest of my life. But the effort to make your own food is easy, and as long as you have four walls and something keeping you warm, you can do it. Get yourself a growing bulb. Not particularly expensive, and in the modern day, it doesn't even require that much electricity. And from that, you can start growing tomatoes for sure. Now, you can't live off tomatoes, I admit that. But once you get skilled at gardening, and I encourage you to get skilled now because things are getting expensive now. Yeah, it's no joke. We're at the point where something as easy as pork chops is like $5 to $10 per person to make a good meal out of. Once upon a time, that was poor people food. If you want to actually do a tenderloin or something, you're screwed. Now, I unfortunately cannot suggest anything other than to become way more involved in fruits and vegetables, because meat's getting very expensive. I don't really advocate a whole vegetarian lifestyle because our ancestors were not wholly vegetarian. But I do advocate a lifestyle where you can grow your own food. The Irish people survived on potatoes for a very long time. And you know what? You can do a potato sack, which means you get yourself one of those burlap sacks, those mesh sacks, and you put a couple ends of potatoes with the eyes on them, close it up, hang it up, water it a few times. You know what? You get that whole sack of potatoes. Yeah, how would you like that? A whole sack of potatoes from nothing. And this is what we have to do in the modern day. Make something out of nothing. You know what? Here's the funny thing. This PLA filament is actually recyclable. I'm only just finding out of it now, but if I decide to take this, which is not a particularly good one, but I'm using it for other purposes, and I said, this doesn't work, I can throw this in the recycling and get some dirt. And from that, I can, it takes 6 months to a year to do it, but I always do recycling for next year anyway. What I put away this year goes for next year, whatever the heck it is. So, that's what we need to start thinking about. Thinking about the future, and realistically thinking about the future. We're never going to be the ones to be able to take on global warming and clean the environment and blah, 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 because the mega corporations are there despoiling it before we even get there. But little actions we can do are economically advantageous. And I actually don't particularly give a lot of weight to global warming. I actually think it's pretty much a scam, because the big corporations, the big governments, the ones who are responsible for it, are never going to do anything about it. Oh, they'll give it lip service and they'll pass laws and say, you're the bad guy. But the big polluters are never going to do anything about it because no one's ever going to stop them. Think about the U.S. Air Force. When they kick in their afterburners on a stealth aircraft that took God knows what to manufacture, do you think they care? No, they don't. It's pilots kicking in the burn and going for gold. So, I'm only encouraging you to defeat things at a local level. I can 3D print things. It's not that hard for you to learn. A little bit intimidating, and I'll be honest, my particular rig is not the greatest, but it's sufficient. So my little girl can have some toys. Look at that little couch. That's going to go beautifully in a dollhouse. Yes, I know I need to sand off the bottom. But you see, whereas most people say, oh, this is a bad print, I'm like, I got a sander. I got a Dremel that can go under there, zit, take it down. It's all good. So what I'm saying to you is start trying to figure out ways you can do things for yourself. Because My Little Pony is bloody expensive. But a little bit of filament, coming down there, making that little hex base, a little bit of paint, not quite as expensive. A couple sprouts, a couple seeds, a couple whatever it needs to be, not that expensive. Potatoes? My goodness, if people only knew what they could be doing with potatoes, it would be scary. Yes, we would all like to go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in London or Los Angeles or wherever the hell he has a restaurant at the present time and order off the red menu, the blue menu, or whatever his menu is. That's true. But we can't do that. It's you and I, we're trapped where we are, and quite likely, even if we could secure a reservation, we wouldn't be able to get the plane ticket down there for it anyways. So, I say to you, be self-sufficient. I'm not Gordon Ramsay, but I know how to cook. And I'm not cooking filet mignon every night. I'm taking leftovers like he always says to his proteges. He's like, take leftovers and make something good. And I know how to do that. So what I'm suggesting to you is learn to take the leftovers. Learn to take this PLA filament and turn it into something that's useful. You won't see what's useful now. Maybe in a future video I'll show it to you. Maybe not on this channel. That's a whole other thing. But what I am saying to you is be self-sufficient wherever possible. It's an undeniable advantage. Anyway, with that, we should thank you for joining us for the Silverlight Show. If you enjoyed this program, please hit like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to buy the books in the comments below, and we hope you have a fantastic day.